the one thing I really respect about this author is that he took something that put him in a bad place in his life. Not only did he conquer it, he has turned it into his life's mission, found a meaning in his life, and he's out there making the world a better place, something I absolutely respect. Welcome back to Frank Talks, Robert Marckini.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, just some standard questions here so we can wrap up this interview. First question. In the last segment, at the very end, you talked about how people are writing to you, telling you that your book has changed their lives, and the pleasure that that gives you. What other pleasures do you experience now in your day-to-day lifestyle?
Well, I read a quote a few years ago from Lance Armstrong that at the time didn't make much sense to me, but it certainly does today. He said, "Cancer was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It gave my life purpose." And I really could have said the same thing. For my entire career, I was making chemicals and doing corporate things and making money and living my life. Then this August 10th, 2000 thing happened, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and my whole life's direction changed. If someone were to have told me 10 years ago that I'd be leading an international prostate cancer support group, writing a book and speaking to groups about prostate cancer, I never would have believed them, but here I am. A lot of folks refer to what I do here as a ministry. Maybe it is in a certain respect. I find myself taking a lot of satisfaction out of helping recently diagnosed men and their families, by the way. I often speak with a fellow on the phone with his wife on the extension, just explaining, what this disease is all about and what it's not all about, and that it's not a death sentence, and so on and so forth. And the feedback that I get from my book, much of it is on the Lula website or on Amazon. It just brings me a lot of joy and comfort. I spent a lot of time on the phone speaking with folks, less than in the past because I was spending upwards of 80 hours a week on the phone, and my wife finally said, "I think you need to change direction here." But I still spend a fair amount of time on the Internet responding to emails. I receive probably 100 to 150 a day. I do get to all of them. I'm currently backed up about 400. Because more and more people are being diagnosed and more people are discovering my website or my book. So it's brought me a lot of satisfaction. I never thought my life would take this direction, but it has, and I've had a lot of fun. I've got a lot of satisfaction out of it. My daughter now works with me to take some of the workload, and she's finding the same experience. She spent most of her career in marketing for a high-tech internet company, and now she's working with me, helping me with the second edition of my book, and helping with the website, helping with our member list, which has about 90,000 pieces of data on it, and she's experiencing the same kind of satisfaction and joy that I am. So it's been a wonderful ride, and every day there's something new and more satisfaction, more joy, and more people to talk with, and that's been a lot of fun.
What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make in order to maintain your support group? Time.
This is literally a 7-day-a-week situation. I turn the computer on around 6:30 in the morning, and I'll process emails for an hour or two before breakfast, and then during the day the phone starts to ring and so on. And I have found that as much fun and joy and satisfaction as I get out of this, it has definitely impacted balance in my life. And I enjoy playing golf. I enjoy boating and other things, and reading and so on. And I have made some sacrifices in those areas. And I'm hoping now that my daughter is on board and helping me out, and will be able to move more toward doing some of those other things.
If we talked about obstacles, what were the obstacles, the challenges you have had to overcome, not only in writing the book, but also in continuing with your ministry?
Probably the biggest obstacle is time. When someone sends an email and they list 10 or 15 questions, I would love to be able to answer every one of them in detail. And I find myself not able to do that anymore, because if I were to do that, I would not be paying attention to a lot of other folks. So right now, the biggest obstacle, I think, is time. When it came to putting the book together, I'm a perfectionist by nature, and I wanted to make sure that the book was perfect before it went out. And each time I thought I was near done, I would think of something else. I would think of some new areas I should cover. And that delayed the book by a year or two initially. And then finally, a good friend of mine said, I think it's time. Put the book out now. Put out a second edition later. And so that was very helpful to me. And in retrospect, I'm glad I did it. I know there are areas that are incomplete and areas that I could develop further. And I will do that in the next edition. But I think those are probably the obstacles that most come to mind.
If someone wanted to get in contact with you or buy your book, where could they go to find you?
You can find the book through my website, which is www.protonbob.com. You can find it on Lulu, lulu.com. You can find it on Amazon. And you can find it on the Borders website,